History of Ramazan. Ramadan, the ninth month of the Islamic lunar calendar, is the holy month of fasting and spiritual reflection for Muslims worldwide. It is a time of devotion, piety, and charity, during which Muslims abstain from food, drink, and other physical needs from sunrise until sunset. This article will provide a comprehensive history of Ramadan, from its origins to its modern-day observance. Origins of Ramadan. The origins of Ramadan can be traced back to the early years of Islam in the 7th century. The Prophet Muhammad, the founder of Islam, began receiving revelations from God in 610 CE, and it is believed that the first verses of the Quran were revealed to him during the month of Ramadan. The Quran refers to Ramadan as the month in which the Quran was revealed, as a guidance for mankind, and as a criterion for distinguishing right from wrong. The first Ramadan fast was observed in the second year of the Islamic calendar, in 624 CE. It was during the Battle of Badr, a key event in Islamic history, that the Prophet Muhammad instructed his followers to fast as a way of gaining strength and spiritual fortitude. The practice of fasting during Ramadan became one of the 5 pillars of Islam, alongside the declaration of faith, prayer, charity, and pilgrimage to Mecca. Development of Ramadan. The practice of fasting during Ramadan evolved over time. In the early years of Islam, fasting was not mandatory, but was encouraged as a way of gaining spiritual reward. It was only later that the obligation to fast during Ramadan was established, and it became one of the pillars of Islam. The early Muslims observed Ramadan by abstaining from food, drink, and sexual activity from dawn until dusk. They also engaged in additional acts of worship, such as increased prayer and charitable giving. Over time, the practice of Ramadan became more standardized, and Muslims developed a set of rules and traditions to guide their observance of the month. During Ramadan, Muslims are expected to wake up early for a pre-dawn meal called suhoor, which provides them with the energy they need to fast during the day. They then break their fast at sunset with a meal called iftar, which typically includes dates and water or juice. Muslims are encouraged to break their fast with others and to invite guests to their iftar meals, as a way of building community and strengthening social ties. Ramadan around the world. Today, Ramadan is observed by Muslims around the world, and its practices and traditions vary depending on the culture and region. In some countries, such as Saudi Arabia and Iran, the government imposes restrictions on work hours and business operations during Ramadan, to allow Muslims to focus on their spiritual obligations. In other countries, such as the United States and Europe, Muslims observe Ramadan while continuing to work and go about their daily lives. In many Muslim-majority countries, Ramadan is a time of celebration and festivity, with elaborate iftar meals and nighttime markets selling food and other goods. In some regions, such as Indonesia and Malaysia, Muslims hold large public gatherings called Tarawih, during which they recite the Quran and engage in communal prayer. In recent years, the observance of Ramadan has been influenced by modern technology and social media. Muslims use apps and websites to track the time of the sunrise and sunset, to find nearby mosques for prayer, and to connect with others during the month. Conclusion. Ramadan is a month of spiritual reflection and devotion for Muslims worldwide. Its origins can be traced back to the early years of Islam, and its practices and traditions have evolved over time. Today, Ramadan is observed by Muslims in every corner of the world, and its practices and traditions vary depending on the culture and region. Through fasting, prayer, and charitable giving, Muslims seek to strengthen their faith and deepen their connection. Happy Ramadan!